Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone. I got a brand new video for you, ladies and gentlemen. But before I get started, like always, I appreciate you guys all drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, never ever seen any of my lineup advice videos, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by. I hope you do enjoy the video, and we will love you to become a subscriber and be a part of the DFS Zone community. And that's all you need to do to be able to get that information on a consistent basis, is to become a subscriber. So make sure you subscribe down below and make sure that you put on that bell icon, turn that on. This way you don't miss out on any of my lineup advice videos when they're posted. With that being said, today is Thursday, January 24th, 2019. We have a 4-game slate in the association, and obviously before we get started, I do apologize. This video is coming out very, very late. I did have some individuals reach out to me today on Twitter and on Instagram and let me know if I was going to be doing a video today, and I did let them know that I was working. I actually worked an additional 2 hours, pretty much almost 2.5 hours, and then with just traffic getting back home today, which was really, really bad due to a lot of rain going on here in Long Island, New York. So I got, I lost out on about 3 hours, and obviously hurt the research time. But it's a small slate. I figured I'm going to get it done. I got to get something out for those who, need the assistance. This is why I do this. I do this just basically to help others, give them information, and let them decide for themselves what their plays are. This is not about, hey, let me give you 6 plays and just keep moving. I'm going to give you options like always. So again, stick around. Also today, because it's a 4-game slate, we always do the optimizer. We utilize the optimizer on Fantasy Cruncher, a software that I use for a lot of sports for me for DFS. I'm going to obviously optimize a few lineups for us on Fanduel, DK, and as well as Yahoo. So all 3 platforms today. So stick around if you're new, so that you can actually get an idea of more or less what are the percentages and what Fantasy Crunchers projections have for some players as far as percentages are. Other than that, let's get right to it, man. At the top here, man, at point guard today, we got Russell Westbrook, Steph Curry, and Damian Lillard. I think out of all 3 guys, the one I do like the most is Steph Curry in this matchup. He's under 10 grand. He's going up against the Washington Wizards. The Wizards are 23rd defending point guards and allowing 38 fantasy points per game. They recently did give up 32 to Moutier, 35 to Lowry, and 49 to Eric Bledsoe. And we got Curry under 50, and we know he has 50. He has 60-point upside. I do believe when it comes to Golden State now that Boogie Cousins is playing, the one that's going to get hurt a lot is going to be Draymond Green, as well as everybody's going to take a hit here on this team because, they got 5 pretty good explosive players that could put up points, especially the four main characters, Cousins, Durant, Klay Thompson, and as well as Steph Curry. But Draymond Green is going to get hit hard here as far as rebounding is concerned, and so on and so forth, and as well as getting those additional little putback easy buckets up front with Boogie Cousins playing. And the same will be, I think the same could be said for Kevin Durant. There's going to be a point where he's not going to need to put up very, very huge numbers due to that. But Steph Curry in a situation like this against Washington, very, very poor in the backcourt with no John Wall. Do like him here a whole lot at 9,800. So he is definitely someone to consider. He'll be in the player pool. Westbrook, you obviously got to consider him a paced-up game here. 12,002 is is a little high price today. Out of all the studs today, the best one, the 2 that really stand out for me are Karl Anthony Towns and Paul George. I kind of like Paul George a lot more than Westbrook. He's actually cheaper, and he does have the same upside. He can get you 60 plus, even 70 with Paul George. So Steph Curry in play, Westbrook in play. Love Curry a little bit more. Then you got Damian Lillard. Was a little banged up. He's going to play. He's going up against Phoenix. I'm not too fond of the matchup. I think it's going to be an easy game for Portland. Phoenix has a bunch of injuries. There is some value on Phoenix, though, if you wanted to play some of those players on that side of the ball. Coming down here, Derrick Rose is probably one of the better plays today. We have no Jeff Teague. And with no Jeff Teague, we know he gets the usage. The bump goes up on Rose. And then on top of that, there is no Tyus Jones. So that definitely puts Rose in a very, very good position, as well as Mr. Bayless. So keep those 2 guys in mind. Bayless as the low value play, and then Derrick Rose at 6,600. He should definitely get 30 to 35 minutes plus in this game. Rose versus the Lakers are 5th in defending point guards and allowing 39.8 fantasy points per game as of late. So that's a lot of fantasy points. Definitely an opportunity for Derrick Rose to get crazy. At 6,600, you need 33. Other than that, those guys that I mentioned will be in the optimizer. Seth Curry, if there was no Damian Lillard, I would have considered him, but Damian Lillard starting, unless this game gets out of control, you can consider Seth Curry. As shooting guard, you got Bradley Beal at the top, Drew Holiday, and Devin Booker. I'd be honest with you, Holiday is the best bet. There's no doubt about it. There's no Maričić, no AD. Somebody's got to put up he is the second leading scorer on his team after Anthony Davis. With Davis and Maričić out, this is definitely the Holiday Randle show today. So I will have exposure to those two guys in lineups, and I think that those guys are players that we should target as a community as well. Devin Booker, so Holiday, OKC, 18th in defending shooting guards, and as of late giving up 30.2 fantasy points per game. Holiday's coming in here doing 45 plus in 4 out of his last 5 games, and he put up a 43 and 44 already in 2 games versus OKC. So Drew Holiday's in play. You could consider C.J. McCollum. I would have loved C.J. McCollum a lot more, obviously, without no Damian Lillard. So he's someone you can consider. I do believe that Andrew Wiggins is definitely a good play for me. It's someone I'm definitely going to target myself. 6,300 for him. You only need pretty much 33. He's going up against the Lakers. The Lakers are 26th in defending shooting guards. Even though Wiggins plays the 3, he will get possibly some Ingram defense. But they have been allowing 30.6 and 29.5 respectively between the two positions. So Andrew Wiggins playing very, very well. Thompson, recently they gave up 51 to Thompson and 42 to Alec Burks. So I think Mr. Wiggins has a shot here as well. Then again, Wiggins, like I said, he is here as a shooting guard on Fanduel and he plays the 3 pretty much for Minnesota, with Josh Okogie playing the 2. So stuff to consider there, but I do like him in the matchup here at a paced-up game in Los Angeles for Andrew Wiggins. And then, of course, you got to consider Josh Okogie at 4,800. Josh Hart, I definitely will consider. If there's no Rajon Rondo, you definitely, I feel that the Lakers will start Josh Hart at the point, and I definitely think he is someone you must consider as well. So Josh Hart at 4,600 will be in a player pool as well as Caldwell Pope. You have to consider both of them in that in the optimizer. At small forward, I'm just trying to get through the guys real quickly again because I'm pressed for time. I want to get the video out as quickly as I can, and we'll go over them on the optimizer. At the top here, small forward, there's no doubt. I already said it. I do like Paul George a whole lot here today at 10,008. He's got 60-plus upside. You need pretty much 54 to meet value here. He's averaging 48. And he's going up against the Pelicans. They're 15th in defending small forwards, and they've been allowing almost 26 fantasy points per game. He has had 4 out of his last 5 games. He has put at least 50 plus, and he has already played them this year twice, and he's put up 50 and 53 respectively. I don't see no reason why he cannot get 50. I'm hoping for him to get 60 or better so that he turns out to be a good GPP play. But I think he's pretty good for cash for you guys today who play cash games. Paul George definitely in play. Kevin Durant under 10,000, you got to consider it. But again, my concerns with Kevin Durant, like I already said and pointed out, is that Boogie Cousins is now starting and playing. He's getting 25 to almost 30 minutes. I think he's gotten 21 to 25 minutes. He's going to be jumped up pretty shortly. He's going to probably go up to 20. I wouldn't even be surprised he plays 27 to 28 minutes today. And the beauty of it is with Cousins, the setback for Durant is him getting rebounds and getting those additional shots, especially up close. I think Boogie Cousins is going to definitely hurt him in that area. This is why I'm leaning more towards George today. But again, I think he's definitely a good play at 9,500. He is definitely pretty cheap, and he has 60, 70-point upside as well. We go down a little bit further. Between the Porter and Ariza, I'll probably be leaning more towards Porter. If I was going to use any of these 2 Washington players, I think they're both playing very well right now. Otto Porter is playing really well right now. So he is definitely someone to consider. Obviously, when Maričić out, like I already said, you got to consider Holiday. You got to consider Randle as the top 2 dogs there for the New Orleans Pelicans. But there are a couple guys like Solomon Hill, Darius Miller. These guys, Etuan Moore has been ruled out, so I definitely love Darius Miller at 30. What he's at, 3,900, 3,400. He's at 3,500, man. He is at bare minimum. And this guy gets hot from 3 and from the perimeter. He could be very dangerous. So he is definitely someone that I'm eyeing at that drop spot price, especially today without no Etuan Moore. and no Marichik. Other than that, Brandon Ingram definitely in play 6,600, man. If there's no Rajon Rondo, I'm going to love him even more, but I will play him in some lineups. I think he is definitely a good play today. He is going to be one of two guys that are going to definitely need to score some points here in this matchup against Minnesota, and he has had pretty decent success against them. All right, with Minnesota, they're 30th in defending small forwards, dead last. They've been allowing 25.2 fantasy points per game. He did put up a 41 and a 38 this year versus Minnesota in 2 games. So he's averaging about 39 fantasy points against them already, and at 6,600, you only really need 33. So right now, that is looking pretty good, and he'll get a bump in usage and minutes due to the fact that those other players are hurt. And at the same time, if Rajon Rondo is out, I mean, it's going to open the doors for him that he's going to have to produce even more. So same could be said for Kyle Kuzma. So Brandon Ingram in play for me as well. Next guy, another guy that I do like here today is Kelly Oubre Jr. No Warren. Okay, we just found out also a couple hours ago, I got the notification there's no Rashad Holmes. So Kelly Oubre Jr. is probably going to step in and start today, and at 6,030, and he's averaging pretty much almost like 30-somewhat points a game since he's been a Phoenix Sun. He is definitely being utilized well here, and I think he's a fine player. 6,000, you need pretty much 30, and 6 out of his last 8 games, he's put up at least 22 plus. Portland is number 1 in defending small forwards, but they have allowed 26.8 fantasy points per game. This year against Portland, he has already put up a 38 and a 35. So he's done well against them already. So Kelly Oubre Jr. in play. Always this little sneaky play, Jeff Green. Like I said already, I do like Mr. Darius Miller here. All right, so keep him in your radar as well. At power forward, we know the deal. No Anthony Davis. Hey, here comes Julius Randle. I mean, Julius Randle is definitely in play. This is going to be a paced-up game. It's going to be a good competitive game. They need Randle to perform well today. I had him the other night. He didn't put up the big numbers that I wanted, that I was at least expecting him to put up. Tonight is one of those nights that, again, he is someone you just simply because of the injuries and the actual matchup and then just knowing there's only 4 games, he's in play, no doubt about it. The only thing is that he's probably going to be one of those guys in the power forward spot here today that's going to be one of the higher-owned players. I could see him being 30, maybe 35%, maybe even as high as 40% owned today. But Julius Randle is definitely in play. OKC, 9th in defending power forwards, allowing 35 fantasy points per game. He has had 3 out of his last 5 games, 40 points or better, and versus OKC so far 2 times this year, 41 and 45. So he's already averaging 42.5, 43 fantasy points against his team already. At that price tag, 89, you need 44. So he's in play. Kyle Kuzma is in play as well. He's another one that I do like. I like him a lot more also, like I said, for Ingram. If there's no Rondo, you definitely got to have a little bit of Mr. Kuzma. Kuzma and Ingram will be major players here for the Lakers if Rajon Rondo is not able to go. And like I said already, with Rajon Rondo, if he plays, I definitely like him tonight in his matchup, so he's in play as well. But Kuzma, 7,100, you need 35 pretty much to be value. He's going up against Minnesota, as I already said. They're 30th in defending power forwards. They're allowing 26.6 fantasy points per game as of late, 49 plus in 2 out of his last 3 games for Mr. Kuzma coming into this matchup. They already have played twice this year, and he has put up only 26 and 30, not great outings, but those games, one of those games had LeBron James in it. So, I mean, he is more of an integral piece of the puzzle here as far as offensively today. So I expect Kyle Kuzma to definitely have a bump in minutes, usage, and shots. You could consider Draymond Green here. I'm not on Draymond Green, but considering if you're playing a lot of GPPs, multiple lineups, you could sprinkle him in on a lineup or 2. He is pretty cheap at 6,600. You only need 33. A guy that's got 50-point upside, that is definitely a nice price for him. My only concern is, like I said before, the same for Durant. It's the same for Draymond Green. It's just with Boogie Cousins on the floor, that's going to definitely take away from some of his rebounding, and easy putback and easy shots that he gets around the basket. So, but again, he's definitely someone you must consider, even if it's just in 1 or 2 lineups. Other than that, Josh Jackson definitely in play. No Rashad Holmes, no TJ Warren. Josh Jackson is going to start. He's going to play. He had a massive game his last game out, 5,300, and he pretty much 26, 27, and he's capable of getting you 50. So we know that. He's explosive enough to get you 40 easy, but he can get you to 50, which he just did. So Josh Jackson in play has 40, 45, 50-point upside. So Jackson in play. He'll be in the optimizer as well. You got to consider always Mr. Aminu, and you got to always consider Dragan Bender is going to have to play, and he's going to have to put in some minutes. And at 4,600, he's another one you got to consider with no Rashad Holmes. All right. let's move on. At center, Karl Anthony Towns, definitely one of my favorite plays today. He is in play going up against the Lakers. The Lakers are 25th in defending centers, allowing 38.8 fantasy points per game, man. 61 plus in 2 straight games for this young man. And he's had 2 63-plus games versus the Lakers this year already. So he's definitely someone you got to lock in. I mean, $11,004, hefty price, 4-game slate. We know FanDuel bumps up these prices a little bit. You need 56, 57 for him to meet value. He's been crushing 60. He's capable of getting you in the high 60s, even possibly 70. Why not, man? Take a stab at Karl Anthony Towns. If you want to pay down, there's no other better play than to take Mr. Nurkic here at 9,500. Nurkic versus Phoenix, 24th in defending centers, allowing 40.6, the most fantasy points to opposing centers in the slate today is the Phoenix Suns, and they don't have no DeAndre Ayton. So the only concerns here is, like I said before regarding Damian Lillard, is that the game may be just so lopsided with Phoenix being, depleted as far as players are concerned. They don't have no size for Nurkic. So if he can get crazy early on, I can see him getting close to his 40, 45 in 3 quarters if Phoenix can find a way to stay close in this game. Give Phoenix the benefit of the doubt. They are playing at home. Maybe that will help keep the game a little close, but it's going to be a tough matchup. I still think you pay up and you get Mr. Towns. Other than that, you're going to come down and save some money. Obviously, DeMarcus Cousins is in play at 6,400. It's going up against Washington. We know Washington is definitely roughed up a little bit at center, even though the young man, Mr. Thomas Bryant, has been playing fairly well. Boogie Cousins is just a pure beast, and it's just a matter of time before he's getting his 30 to 30 somewhat minutes a game. But Washington, 23rd defending centers, allowing 32.7 fantasy points per game. He has had a 25 and 30 in his first 2 games this year. And the last time he played Washington, he put up a 46 spot, which was last year. And prior to that, he had 50s and 60s the previous year in 2016. So DeMarcus Cousins, in play, no doubt about it. And then you come down here, you got Thomas Bryant, and you got Mr. Jahlil Okafor, who's been playing for AD. Okafor is fine play here. 5,500, you need about 27 fantasy points. And he is going up. He is going up against the 26th defending team against centers in OKC, who is 26th ranked, and they're allowing 26.9, nearly 27, pretty much 27 fantasy points per game, which is not a whole lot. But his last 2 games, man, he's put up some really nice numbers. He's played 30 and 35 minutes in his last 2 outings for AD, put up 42 and 41 respectively. So his price tag is fine. If he's going to go out there and get us 35, 40 today, I think he's a great buy at 5,500. 30-plus minutes, like I said, since AD has been off the floor. So Okafor in play, and then, of course, you still have Zubac here at 4,800. You got Looney at 4,600. These guys will be in the player pool over here. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's go right to the Fantasy Cruncher. And as you're going to see, point guard, I got the 3 guys that I like best right now. They're right there with the thumbs up. Rondo, if he plays, Derrick Rose, Steph Curry. But, of course, Westbrook, Curry, Lillard, Rose, Rondo, Satoransky, Payton, I forgot about Bayless, and Milton and Seth Curry are all in play here as far as I'm concerned for the optimizer. Shooting guard, you got my top plays, Holiday. I do like McCollum, but this was before hearing that Damian Lillard is going to play, so I'm not high on McCollum now. I do like Andrew Wiggins better. So Wiggins, Hart, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope are in play for LA because, again, if Rajon Rondo's out, we have to at least consider those 2 guys. And then you got Terrence Ferguson at small forward, George, Durant, Porter, Ariza, Ingram, Oubre, Green, Turner, Bridges, Stevenson, Harkless, Layman, and Darius Miller are all guys that I'm considering. They're in the player pool. And as you can see, the ones with the thumbs up are the ones that I like best, which is Ingram, Ariza, which actually is not Ariza anymore. I like Otto Porter, George, Ingram, Oubre, and, of course, Mr. Darius Miller at power forward. These are the guys that I got. Randall, Kuzma, my favorite, with Josh Jackson, Aminu, and Rashad Holmes is out, so we know that already. So he's out of this. Let's get him out of here. And in the player pool, we still have Taj Gibson and Zach Collins. They normally get a few minutes as well for their respective teams. At center, basically, these are the only guys I'm looking at. Zubac, Okafor, Bryant, Cousins. Ayton is out. We already know he's out, so we're going to take him out of there. Steven Adams. I'm not high on Steven Adams, so I'll keep him in there right now. Nurkic and Towns. And that's pretty much it. I already did the lineups prior to doing the video. So we're going to just scroll down to the bottom. As a matter of fact, I just eliminated some guys. So let's do it again. And let's see what we got. This is for Fanduel. I know it's a little choppy today, the video. I normally don't do videos this way, man. I'm just trying to be quick, try to give you guys an opportunity to look at some stuff and get some information. So we're doing 50 optimized lineups. We're going to take a look now. So far, we got Aminu at the top at 100%. Steph Curry is rolling in at 96. Karl Anthony Towns at 93. Otto Porter at 90. Looks pretty good. Still Aminu at the top. As you can see right on the screen, you got your first 3 rows there. So you got your first 3 optimized lineups. You got Curry, Payton, Thompson, Wiggins, Otto Porter, Darius Miller, Aminu, Zach Collins, and Karl Anthony Towns. And then, of course, you got the number 2 and number 3 right next to it. I will scroll down like I normally do and give you guys an opportunity to see at least 3 or 4 more rows. And that's all right. So we have everything optimized. And it's Aminu, Karl Anthony Towns, Steph Curry, Otto Porter, Alfred Payton, actually, 72%. Zach Collins. Let's go over to the positions. Point guard, Steph Curry at 88%. Payton at 72%. D Rose at 16%. And then shooting guard, Wiggins on the top. Klay Thompson, 52%. Pretty close there, 56 and 52. Josh Okogie, 42%. Josh Hart at 20%. Holiday at only 8%. That's a surprise. Small forward, Porter, 86%. Ingram, Darius Miller, Bridges, Durant, and Kelly Oubre. Man, Paul George, only 2%. He's only in one lineup, folks. This is what I'm saying. I'm going to give you players. I told you I love Paul George tonight, but in the meantime, on the optimizer here on Fantasy Cruncher, he is only in one lineup of our optimized 50 lineups for today. That means they're not expecting him to put up anything more than what he normally puts up. That's what it comes down to. But I do believe he has that 60, 65, 70 point upside, and I have a feeling that he's just going to perform better than Westbrook today. At power forward, it's Aminu 100%, and I'm not high in Aminu today, but I did mention him. Collins, Josh Jackson, which I do think is a fine play today due to all the injuries. We know he's going to get minutes and usage, 16%. Draymond Green only 10%. Kyle Kuzma only 4%. Now, if there's no Rajon Rondo, there's no way in the world Kyle Kuzma is a bad play. So at 4%, you can't buy into that. This is why I say it's good to see these optimizers, but at the same time, these are Fantasy Crunchers projected scoring here. They're projecting, Steph Curry to have 45.2 fantasy points, but he can go out there and put up 60, and he can go out there and only put 40 again. So the projections are just an idea. They have certain statistical data they look at and they put together and they optimize, and they actually build a formula so they can build these optimizing softwares. And this is why you will go to one site. I mentioned this before. You can go to 3 or 4 different optimizers, and you're going to get different projections pretty much for almost every site. So it's all a matter of what you're looking for. That's why I like to do my own stuff on the side, do my own stats. I look at about 4 or 5 that I really target, and then I base my lineups from there. And that works for me. But again, it's just to be able to share this kind of information with you guys. So again, this is what you got. All right. So that's FanDuel. You got 2 lineups there. That's 6. Then you got the 3rd row here, and like I highly always recommend, eliminate a few guys, switch up some guys. If you were to use the Fantasy Cruncher, you can do that here. Like, for instance, if I wanted to get Alfred Payton out of here, for example, I click on that, and it'll give me everybody that's available at that price range or lower that I can utilize and fit in there. And I can just swap them. And as soon as I click on one of these players, he'll be moved. He'll be replacing Payton here in this spot. So pretty cool software when it comes to all that, and as far as eliminating. And if you wanted them completely out of all your optimized lineups, then you just cross them out here with the with the X. Okay, that's 9 and 10, and as you can see, a lot of guys are pretty high. So like Steph Curry's pretty high today, Derrick Rose. So you're gonna see them pretty much in every one of these lineups. All right, so that's 16, 17, 18. We're gonna stop there. We're gonna go to the top. I'm gonna share with you DK's optimized lineups. Again, I already narrowed all the players down to the player pool of players that I would be targeting, and those are the players that I'm trying to share with you, and those are the players that I optimize. And we come down here, and you're going to see the first row says Payton, Thompson, Bridges, Porter, Okafor, Beal, Okogie, and Towns. And then you got Lillard here, Iguodala, Koji, Porter, Okafor, Thompson, Wiggins, and Karl Anthony Towns. All right, over here, respectively, Alfred Payton is the top point guard with Damian Lillard 30%, Steph Curry 22%, shooting guard Klay Thompson at 100%, Josh Okogie at 84%, Andrew Wiggins at 36% of the top three. At small forward, Porter 84%, Josh Okogie 84%, Andrew Wiggins 36%. Power forward, Porter 84%, Ariza 20%, DeMarcus Cousins at 16%. And at center, you got Okafor at 100%, Towns at 88%, and DeMarcus Cousins at 16%. I like all three of those guys, so you can go anywhere. It's a matter of how you want to build your lineups. And here you got your first three on the row here. That's lineup number 4, 5, and 6 right here. So you can always pause it afterwards. There goes 7, 8, and 9. There goes 10, 11, and 12. And 13, 14, and 15. All right, that's for DK. That's for DraftKings. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move up to the top again. And now do one more optimized lineup for Yahoo players. All right, those guys that play Yahoo, I already have narrowed down those players here as well. The player pool has been made. I already optimized 50 lineups. And let's see what we got here. Okay, here. First line has Payton, Beal, Okogie, Ariza, Porter, Ingram, Okafor, and Towns. And then, of course, you can see here they're favoring some Washington and Portland players. And over here is more Washington players again. And over here, we're going to go over the positions. Point guard, top player here, Alfred Payton. That's the second site. 38%. Damian Lillard, 30%. Steph Curry, 26%. Rose, 8%. Top four at shooting guard, Okogie, 86%. Beal, 60%. Klay Thompson, 16%. Drew Holiday at 12%. Andrew Wiggins at 4%. Small forward, Ariza, Ingram, and Bridges. Darius Miller, 4%. Power forward, Mr. Porter, 100%. Aminu, 44%. And everybody else is 4% or lower. And at center, Okafor at 96%, with Towns 72% second, and Mr. Nurkic 32% third. So again, it's all a matter of how you want to play it. Switch the players around. This is what beauty about doing this is that you can look at this and you'll be like, man, all right, I like that lineup. Go with it. If you want to play that lineup, you play it. I wish you a whole lot of luck. If not, you can at least get an idea. Well, I like these guys here. Now let me see whom I can put here and replace this guy with that price, in that price range that I think may fit in a little bit better. Or maybe you can move one guy to or one or two guys and basically can utilize some better plays if you want. If you wanted to mix and match, you can do that. That's the beauty of that, is you'll be able to at least see which players really pop up the most. And if you like 3 or 4 of these guys, 5 or 6 of these guys, then you build around the others. They go 7, 8, and 9, 10, 11, and 12. A lot of Washington Wizards, 13, 14, and 15. And that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I wish you guys a lot of luck. I know it's a little choppy, it's quick. It's probably not the way I normally do it. It really isn't the way I normally do it. But again, just due to being late, working a little later today, I figured, hey, you know what? Let's get something done. Let's get something out there for you guys. There were a few of you that reached out, and I don't want to let anybody down, because I know sometimes people don't have the time to do this stuff, and at least they're getting some sort of information to at least help them. So I hope it helps you guys out. I hope you guys make a lot of money, man. Please drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. And of course, man, always sharing social media. I greatly appreciate all of you guys that have become subscribers, are part of the DFS Zone community. Let's keep growing. Let's keep building the community up. Let's keep just doing the right thing, and hopefully we'll keep helping people make some money, and actually at the same time, hopefully we're helping people learn how to play some DFS. All right.